So today we're trying something a little bit different. We are going to be playing Mecha Break, which is the upcoming mech game with PvP, with PvPvE modes, with a ton of deep mech customization, character customization, a space station to explore, all sorts of stuff. And above all, it's free to play as well, and there is a demo up right now for you to try as well if you want to give it a shot. And while I don't have a lot of experience with mech games, my first one I really sunk my teeth into was Armored Core 6, like 2 years ago, going on 2 years ago at least. And so I'm relatively new to this genre, but the devs reached out, wanted me to try it and share it with you. So I said, sure. So long as I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say, positive, negative, you give me access to your game, I still want to be able to say whatever I want to say. And they agreed. And so that's where we're at with this video. I'm going to show you kind of how it works, show you a lot of stuff that I like and think is really impressive. And then I'm also going to point out some things that I hope they change before the game's final release, things that I'm not in love with. So let's get into it. But at the end of the day, no matter what, if you're interested in this, you can just go to Steam, wishlist it, try the demo yourself, and formulate your own opinion. So the first thing you would expect to see in a mech game, obviously, are lots of different mechs. And there are, in fact, many. As you can see, you can switch your striker, which is basically just a mech, and they have all sorts of different archetypes, whether that's sniper classes, support classes, maybe they're just classes meant for getting up close and personal and really just hack and slashing. There's all sorts of different strikers for you to choose from. You just got to experiment and see which one you like. Heavy sniper, ultra heavy attacker. As you can see, this one swaps out. And even within these, there's all sorts of further customization that you can do, swapping out weapons, turrets, all sorts of different abilities. You can even change the paint schemes and stuff if you want, and you can customize the pilot as well if you are so inclined. Now, obviously, this is a demo beta test sort of thing, so there is a good amount of stuff missing, and there are things that are expected to change before the game fully launches, which is why player feedback at this stage is really important, especially as they're fine-tuning some of the last stuff before the game actually is done. If you try these demos and these betas and you have thoughts and things that you'd like to see them do or change, now's the time to do that and communicate that for sure. As with always, I'm a firm believer that being honest and direct is way better than trying to preserve feelings. And in this case, I think there's a lot that this game does really, really well just based on what I'm seeing right now. I mean, already they have a ton of variety within the mechs themselves, so that encourages different play styles. I also love the grandiose scale of the environments and everything you're doing, as you would expect from a mech game. I mean, you're playing as a gigantic mech. I mean, these are trucks. Look how small they are. And furthermore, they have a lot of different game modes as well. Everything from your typical escort missions you might recognize from a lot of other game archetypes, but then they also have more traditional like PvP modes and things. They're also introducing a new game mode called Mach, which is basically an extraction shooter mode, but for this massive mech game. So it's PvPvE on a super large map against a big boss at the end. And as we've seen with some other games that come in and offer, oh goodness, he's just gonna curb stomp me. As we've seen with some other games that have released in the last year, if you don't have a lot of different game modes and variety of classes and archetypes, you're just not going to entertain players for long. So already seeing that they've added a bunch of stuff at launch is nice. It's good to see. These guys are my favorites. These guys that fly over. They remind me of that one Transformer. I don't remember his name, but that one Transformer that turns into like an F-18 fighter jet, you know? It takes me back to, it's like my childhood years watching those Transformer movies and then seeing him transform into a fighter jet instantly, fly around the map and everything. I just like it. I think it's cool. I makes me feel like a kid again, you know? It's just cool. And it's unapologetically cool. It's not trying to be anything like too crazy serious. It's just wacky. That's right. I've got the rockets. There it is. One of the other nice things is that they already have a lot of good quality of life elements that you kind of need for modern games like this. They have player reputation systems, for example, which was something Concord, for instance, was lacking, amazingly enough. So they have a lot of stuff that is nice to see and that I frankly think they need. And it shows that they're really doing the groundwork to lay a strong foundation before the game launches, which is all good. I mean, I think at the core, Mecha Break is pretty impressive. I think they're doing a lot of really cool stuff, but there are a couple of tidbits and things I personally hope they tweak and change before launch. And to their credit, they're allowing me to talk about these problems I have that I'm about to describe, which hopefully at least indicates that they are open to the feedback and willing to make changes, because specifically how they've set up some of the monetization with the game, I'm not too impressed with that. And boom, we won. Hooray, victory. Not even having to try that hard. I'm just that good. I'm a goat. Bah. But going back to the monetization, my specific frustrations are shared with some of the other people who have been playing the demo, who have been following this game very closely through multiple like demos and betas. And that's simply that the monetization scheme is built around the game being free to play, which is nice. If you want to try it, you just download it and give it a shot. But they do have a lot of the coolest parts of the game, such as the heavy customization, locked behind major paywalls, such as different currencies that you have to buy separately, and then you use those currencies to buy the mechs you want. And then even then, if you want to do individual customization within these, you have to have either grinded for certain grades of crafting materials or secondary currencies, or you have to just straight up have cold hard cash in order to buy it, which I just find frustrating. If you have a really cool part of your game like mech customization, I think that should be relatively easy to get access to so people can enjoy the coolest part of your game. Locking it behind an excessive grind or just straight up cash never feels good. Even if the free and available mechs are still fun, it creates kind of two classes of players: those who can afford to spend money on the better mechs and the better weapons, and those who can't afford to do that. And I just think that is not conducive to a really healthy game. I think you gotta treat everybody the same. Monetize the cosmetics. Maybe there is grind and stuff to get some of the more powerful weapons and things. I think that makes sense. But to also sell with real world money those solutions to the gameplay problem, I just personally don't like that. And it seems like the way they've monetized it this time around has also come as a surprise to some of the more dedicated fans, because they didn't see this in previous demos and they thought it was surprising to see it pretty aggressive this time around. So I hope that they make adjustments and change before the game launches. Thankfully, this is a pretty easy thing in theory to adjust and change based on feedback. So I think they've got an awesome game on their hands, and I think they've done a ton of great work. But I would plead with them to not be super aggressive with the monetization, because already just in this demo, some of these guys that look really cool, I'm like, ooh, I want to try him, but I'm like, I don't think I have the money to do it. I don't know if I want to do that. So I'm just going to pass. And that's a problem, I think. But like I said, I think they have a great game on their hands, just so long as they don't over monetize it and don't push too hard on those things. I understand it's a free to play game. You got to make money. This game was no doubt very expensive to make. I mean, look at the graphics, look at the animation quality. They definitely put a ton of work into this. I just think they have to revisit how they've set up the monetization so that they don't end up ticking off a lot of the players who would otherwise love this game. Because I, for one, have had a ton of fun just playing a handful of rounds, giving the game a shot. Again, I'm not too experienced with mech games, but I've been really impressed at how not just approachable it is, but how much depth there is once you start to focus on individual mech customization. And I could see how fun it could be really working to customize different mechs, build out a whole arsenal of different mechs to use. I could see that being super fun in the long term, to build out your whole arsenal, your garage, whatever you want to call it, of different mechs. I just hope that it's not something that requires you to spend an arm and a leg to enjoy. But again, thank you to the devs for reaching out and offering me the chance to make this video, and huge kudos to them for letting me be able to talk about it freely and express my opinions. I mean, the fact that they're willing to sponsor a video, giving me the chance to share this game with my audience, and then they also are willing to let me talk about the positives and negatives, I think that says a lot about their confidence in the end product, and hopefully their willingness to listen to critical feedback. But of course, time will tell. But if you want to try the game yourself, and maybe you are not too concerned with this stuff, try it out. Links below. You can try the demo for free on Steam right now, or you can wishlist the game and keep an eye on it as we approach the launch this spring. And that's the nice thing. Once you add it to your wish list, you'll get notified when there's all sorts of other news or further demos and updates and things. So you can keep an eye on it, and who knows, maybe we'll get news in a handful of weeks or a month or two that they're revamping a bunch of this stuff and a bunch of the headaches and frustrations people have with the game as it stands. But with that, Thank you for watching. Thank you again to Amazing Season Games for sponsoring the video. Much love, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.